Let's crack a pack of the classic 4th edition. Hey everyone, it's vmcampos, Magic fan, classic Magic fan. I got here 3 booster packs of the best Magic expansion of all time, 4th edition. Now, it's the best edition, of course, because it was the one that I grew up with. This was my first Magic set. And isn't it always the case that your first set is the best set of all? Well, you're wrong, because this is the best set of all. We've got a Mesa Pegasus, Mana Crypt, and Heirloom Minotaur. These are the cards that defined my youth. And these are packs that I'm going to open up for the first time in over 20 years. As you know by now, I played Magic back in the 90s. I missed the first wave of Magic. I didn't play ABU, which is Alpha, Beta, Unlimited. I started with 4th edition, basically. So, time to open some packs from my youth. There are 15 boosters, no such thing as mythics. There's common, uncommon, and rare, no mythics, no foils. And the order of these is a little bit weird. The first 3 are the uncommons, then the rare, then the rest is commons. So we're going to open it a little backwards. Such classic packaging here with these characters. The gold and the red. Wow, this so defined my youth. 1994. Oh, interesting. Copyright 1994 on the package, but I know that these have a copyright of 95 on the actual card. Very interesting. There's the old Garfield Games logo, Wizards of the Coast logo, and a little bit of text here. Magic the Gathering is the first in the Deckmaster series of trading card games from Wizards of the Coast, Inc., featuring more than 300 different cards. Magic draws its players into a multiverse of infinite possibilities. Some cards are fairly common, some uncommon, and some rare. Each player must have a deck. There's always more for you to discover in Magic, and the more you play and trade, the more Dominia's ever-changing adventures will intrigue you. In Magic the Gathering, you'll never play the same game twice. Notice they called it Dominia back at the time instead of Dominaria. So here we go. I'm going to open them this way to get to the commons and then the rares. So once again, these last 3 are uncommon, and then the 4th one should be the rare. So we'll do that one last. All right, here we go. So obviously the old classic frame, no expansion symbol, copyright 1995. We have Venom, 1 green, enchant creature or enchant aura. At the end of combat, destroy all non-wall creatures blocking or blocked by target creature. So I think you attach this to your own creature, it attacks, it's basically Death Touch. And then we have this lore that was actually created for the series. I told him it was just a flesh wound, but the next time I looked at him, poor Tag was dead and gone. Mavino Dawn, Memoirs of a Soldier. Art by Tom Wannerstrand. Pit Scorpion, 2 and a black, Summon Scorpion or Creature Scorpion, 1/1, art by Skirt Kirshner. If Pit Scorpion damages a player, he or she gets a poison counter. If a player has 10 or more poison counters, he or she loses the game. Sometimes the smallest nuisance can be the greatest pain. Love that art. Look at those little skulls right there. Actually, if those are real skulls, then that scorpion is huge. Love that art. Speaking of art that I love Mesa Pegasus, one of my favorite creatures of all from back in the day. For 1 and a white, summon Pegasus, 1/1, flying and banding. Before a woman marries in the village of Circe, she must visit the land of the Mesa Pegasus. Legend has it that if the woman is pure of heart and her love is true, a Mesa Pegasus will appear, blessing her family with long life and good fortune. Art by Melissa Benson, and that was her logo. So it's got flying, cool. Banding, which is the extinct mechanic where creatures can combine with each other, sort of. It's complex. Look it up. Ooh, Disintegrate. X and a red. Sorcery, art by Anson Maddox. Disintegrate deals X damage to target creature or player. The target cannot regenerate until end of turn. If the target receives lethal damage this turn, remove it from the game entirely. So this is like a fireball, except that it is for one target, creature or player, and cannot regenerate. And look at that amazing art, just getting blasted by the spell. Gruesome. Next we've got Wild Growth. Classic. For 1 green enchant land, Wild Growth adds green to your mana pool each time target land is tapped for mana. Art by Mark Poole. Such very nice verdant art. Gives your land even more mana. Classic acceleration. Scathe Zombies. I remember the art on this one. I love it. 2 and a black, summon zombies. 2/2. That's it. 3 mana for a 2/2. Nothing special. Except for the art by Jesper Murphers and the text. They groaned, they stirred, they all uprose, nor spake nor moved their eyes. It had been strange, even in a dream, to have seen those dead men rise. Samuel Coleridge, The Rime of the Ancient Mariner. Classic real-world flavor text. Wow, look at these guys. Circle of Protection White. 1 and a white enchantment. Art by Doug Schuler. 1 mana activated ability. Prevent all damage against you from 1 white source. If a source deals damage to you more than once per turn, you may pay 1 each time to prevent the damage. So this was classic protection. You just pay 1 and no white source can damage you. So your Benelish hero is really held off. Bloodlust. 1 and a red. Instant. Target creature gets +4, -4 until end of turn. If this reduces creature's toughness to less than 1, creature's toughness becomes 1. Art by Anson Maddox. This is amazing. You can make even the smallest weenie creature like a 5/1, and it'll never kill your own creature because of that clause right there. Creepy, creepy art. Kind of sexy. Piety. You know, I never had this one back in the day, now that I think about it. 2 and a white. Instant. All blocking creatures get +0/+3 until end of turn. Art by Mark Poole. Whoever obeys God and his prophet, fears God, and does his duty to him, will surely find success. The Quran, verse 24:52. Wow, so again, real-world lore and flavor text. This one from the Quran. There were also Bible verses and Shakespeare verses and such. Interesting. Next, we've got Fire Breathing. For 1 red mana, enchant creature, and then you pay red mana. Target creature, Fire Breathing enchants, gets +1/+0 until end of turn. So pump up your dragon. I always thought his little paw right here was kind of weird. I always thought it was another dragon head, but it's just his little claw. Art by Dan Fraser. And topples round the dreary west a looming bastion fringed with fire. Alfred Lord Tennyson, in memoriam. No blue cards so far. Oh, here we go. Blue card. Spellblast. X and blue. Interrupt, which nowadays would be an instant. Counter target spell. X is the casting cost of target spell. Art by Brian Snowdy, with a really naked wizard guy over here just getting spell blasted in the face. All right, here comes the uncommons and the rare. So, uncommon, Uncle Istvan. 1 black, black, black. Summon Uncle Istvan. 1/3. Art by David Gellon. All damage done to Uncle Istvan by creatures is reduced to 0. Solitude drove the old hermit insane. Now he only keeps company with those he can catch. Whoa, this is freaking epic art. He's got that little skull and a bunch of bones and a bloody axe in the woods. I love this. Summon Uncle Istvan. Now it would be creature, crazy old man. Blue Ward. Boo. This is for 1 white. Enchant creature. It's an aura. Art by Dan Fraser. Target creature gains protection from blue. The protection granted by blue ward does not destroy blue ward. Well, of course not. This is a white enchantment, so what are you talking about? Anyway, it gives any of your creatures protections from blue, so you can protect them from those nasty counterspells. Not really. Osai Vultures. 1 and a white. Summon vultures. 1/1 flying. At the end of any turn in which a creature is put into the graveyard from play, put a carrion counter on vulture. 0. Remove 2 carrion counters to give +1/+1 until end of turn. So feeding on the entrails of your enemies makes this little guy stronger. And the rare card we get, Disrupting Scepter. For 3, this is an artifact. Dig the old classic brown artifact border. Oh, and I forgot to mention also, these are white border cards because this is a reprint set. 4th edition was reprinting cards from the previous sets. Alpha, Beta, Unlimited, Arabian Nights, what else? Antiquities, Legends, The Dark, I think? Anyway, this is an artifact. For 3 and a tap, target player chooses and discards 1 card from his or her hand. Use this ability only during your turn. Art by Dan Fraser. So reusable discard in an artifact for 6 mana. Very cool. Next booster pack, we'll open the one with Mana Crypt on the cover. I think I already saw one. I'm guessing it's Angry Mob. Okay, so uncommon, 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 rare. And then we will do the commons. Dwarven Warriors. I love the art on this one. 2 and a red, summon dwarves, 1/1. Tap. Target creature with power no greater than 2 becomes unblockable until end of turn. Other effects may later be used to increase the creature's power beyond 2. Doug Schuler. Erosion. This is a pretty mean card. Blue, blue, blue. Enchant land. Art by Pete Venters. During his or her upkeep, target land's controller pays 1 mana or 1 life, or target land is destroyed. Effects that prevent or redirect damage cannot be used to counter this loss of life. So you're going to be nuking your opponent's lands in blue. Land Leeches. I love the art here. 1 green, green. Summon Leeches. 2/2. Of course, I love the art because it's by good old Quentin Hoover, one of my favorite artists of all. First strike. So first striking leeches. The standard cure for leeches requires the application of burning embers. Alternative methods must be devised should an ember of sufficient size prove more harmful than the leech. Vervamon the Elder. Gotta catch 'em all. Weakness. For 1 black, enchant creature, target creature gets -2, -1. Art by Doug Schuler. So some roundabout removal because you get the -1 counter on a creature. COP Green. 1 and a blue, same as before, but this one prevents green damage. Art by Sandra Evernham. I really like the green verdant color there. Pikemen. 1 and a white, summon Pikemen, 1/1, banding and first strike. As the cavalry bore down, we faced them with swords drawn and pikes hidden in the grass at our feet. Don't lift your pikes till I give the word, I said. Mavi and O'Donnell, Memories of a Soldier. Memoirs. So, yeah, there's a lot of lore, flavor text of this invented story. And I like this art by Dennis Detweiler. And again, creatures with banding can join together to create bigger creatures. They don't share their abilities, and there's a lot of nuances to it. So the important thing is first strike. Twiddle. For 1 blue, instant, tap or untap target land, artifact, or creature. Art by Rob Alexander, with really weird art that I never understood what that was. Death Ward. I used to love this card, now not so much. For 1 white, instant, regenerate target creature. Art by Mark Poole. So your creature's about to croak, play the Death Ward, It's no longer dead. Psychic Venom. I just had this card played against me. I played a cube draft recently of these vintage cards of mine, and my opponent, their first act of aggression was to Psychic Venom one of my mountains. So I paid him back, don't worry. I love you there, Stevie. Don't worry about it. He'll get another chance. 1 and a blue. Enchant land. Whenever target land becomes tapped, Psychic Venom deals 2 damage to that land's controller. Art by Brian Snowdy. Super mysterious snake with eyes and like really drooly venom. Pretty funny. Unsummon. For a blue instant, return target creature to owner's hand. Art by Douglas Schuler. So send that creature back to the opponent's hand. Easy peasy. The last common, Gray Ogre. 2 and a red, summon Ogre for 2/2. So pretty simple. Besides that, and a little flavor text. The ogre philosopher Gnerdril believed the purpose of life was to live as high on the food chain as possible. She refused to eat vegetarians, preferring to live entirely on creatures that preyed on sentient beings. Pretty weird. Okay, uncommons. Conservator, artifact for 4. 3 and a tap, prevent up to 2 damage to you. Art by Amy Weber. Terrible card. Terrible. Get it out of here. Ooh, Abomination. 3, black, summon Abomination. 2/6. Art by Mark Tedin, I don't know. Tedin. At the beginning of combat, destroy all green and white creatures blocking or blocked by Abomination. So who wouldn't love this little guy right here to go up against him in battle? Wow, you can see the translucent cheeks and everything. Wow. Angry Mob. 2, white, summon Mob. 2+X, 2+X. Art by Drew Tucker. Tucker's art was often very abstract, but here you get a great sense of a mob. Trample. During your turn, Angry Mob has power and toughness, each equal to 2, plus the total number of swamps opponent controls. During other turns, Angry Mob has power and toughness of 2/2. So this is some great color hate. If your opponent has swamps, your mob is angry. And the rare card, Mishra's War Machine. 7 casting cost artifact for a 5/5 creature with banding. During your upkeep, choose and discard 1 card from your hand, or Mishra's War Machine deals 3 damage to you. If Mishra's War Machine deals damage to you in this turn, tap it. This is such a terrible card, such a high casting cost, and you have to then discard cards from your hand to keep it happy, or else it hurts you and it taps itself. So terrible, I can't believe this card. The only thing that you would want to do with this is donate it to your opponent. The art is really weird too. It feels like a sort of medieval Renaissance art. This is just a terrible card. Alright, the final booster pack featuring my main man, the Mesa Pegasus. I think I saw something briefly as I opened it. I think that was a giant slug. Let's see, uncommons, the rare right there. Ooh, Unholy Strength, the censored Unholy Strength. In the first editions of Magic, this one was even more evil because it had a flaming pentagram, a devilish flaming pentagram in the background. I'm glad that the religious groups took that pentagram away, because then now I am completely protected from the forces of evil. Anyway, this is an Unholy Strength for 1 black mana, enchant creature. Target creature gets +2/+1 until end of turn. Art by Douglas Schuler. Llanowar Elves, classic green ramp card. For 1 green, you get a 1/1 creature, tap, add green mana to your mana pool. Play this ability as an interrupt or an instant. Hardened by their life in the haunted Llanowar forest, these fierce beings are outcasts among elven kind. I always loved this art, so weird. bald heads with a weird skull cap. Yoshin Soldier, interesting. Artifact for 3, 1/4, artifact creature. Attacking does not cost Yoshin Soldier to tap. Now this means vigilance nowadays. Art by Christopher Rush. After Krug was destroyed while most of its defenders were at his side, Urza vowed that none of his allies would ever need to fear for their own defense again, even while laying siege to a city far from their homes. Fissure. 3, red, instant. Bury target land or creature. Art by Doug Schuler. So some powerful red destruction here. And this flavor text stuck with me 20 years later. Must not all things at the last be swallowed up in death? Plato. Jump. Horrible card. For 1 blue, instant, target creature gains flying until end of turn. Oh, Mark Poole, why did you have to make such a terrible card? Well, he only drew it. Giant Strength. Red, I remember this little guy. Enchant creature. Target creature gets +2/+2. Justin Hampton art. Not too many Hampton pieces in this set, I believe. Oh, it is excellent to have a giant strength, but it is tyrannous to use it like a giant. Willie Shakes, Measure for Measure. Here we go, Benelish Hero, classic. White Weenie. For 1 white, you get a 1/1 with banding, so you can combine her with other creatures to get even stronger. Benali has a complex cast system that changes with the lunar year. No matter what the season, the only cast that cannot be activated, cannot be attained by either heredity or money, is that of Hero. Lost Soul. I didn't have this card back in the day. 1 black, summon Lost Soul. 2/1 Swamp Walk. Art by Randy Asplund Faith. So she's unblockable if your opponent has swamps. Her hand gently beckons. She whispers your name, but those who go with her are never the same. I believe this is a reprint from a different set, probably the dark, and the flavor text was longer in the old version. Flood. For a single blue, enchantment. Blue. Tap target creature without flying. So some reusable tappage going on. Art by Dennis Detweiler. A dash of cool water does wonders to clear a cluttered battlefield. Vivek, Ragnhild, Witches and War. I wonder if there was more flavor text from that. I don't quite remember. Ooh, classic. Prodigal Sorcerer. 2 and a blue, summon wizard, 1/1. But the best thing, tap, Prodigal Sorcerer deals 1 damage to target creature or player. So he doesn't have to get his hands dirty, he can just ping the opponent. And his nickname back in the day was Tim. Art by Doug Schuler. Occasionally, a member of the Institute of Arcane Study acquires a taste of worldly pleasures. Seldom do they have trouble finding employment. And lastly, Seeker. I didn't have this one back in the day. 2 white, enchant creature. Target creature cannot be blocked except by white creatures and artifact creatures. So it's sort of like the good version of Fear. With Fear, a creature can only be blocked by black creatures or artifact creatures, and here it is in white. Art by Mark Poole. And the last cards here, the uncommons and then the rare. Wall of Brambles. 2 and a green, summon Wall. You get a 2/3. Art by Anson Maddox. You pay a single green and it regenerates. What else? When chaos draws, all forces inward to shape a single leaf. Conrad Aiken. Detonate. X and red, sorcery. Bury or destroy target artifact. Detonate deals X damage to the artifact's controller, where X is the casting cost of the artifact. Art by Randy Asplund Faith. So you're going to destroy those pesky artifacts and also deal damage to their caster. Last uncommon. Ooh, I love this one. Animate Dead. 1 and a black. Enchant dead creature. This one's got so much errata for nowadays, but here's how it was back in the day. Take target creature from any graveyard and put it directly into play under your control with a -1, -0 counter. Treat this creature as though it were just summoned. If Animate Dead is destroyed or removed, bury the creature in its owner's graveyard. Anson Maddox. So you steal opponent's creatures for 1 and a black, you make them slightly weaker, but then they're yours. And you get this amazing Anson Maddox art. Just look at it. Look at those skeletal beings. And lastly, the last one, the rare card from a set that I haven't opened in over 20 years. Land tax, come on, land tax. We get, Leviathan, that's just as good in my book. Check it out right here. 5 blue, 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 so a 9 casting cost for a 10/10 trampling creature. Art by Mark Tidine. But here comes the drawbacks. Comes into play tapped and does not untap during your untap step. During your upkeep, you may sacrifice 2 islands to untap Leviathan. Leviathan cannot attack unless you sacrifice 2 islands during your attack. So you have to sacrifice 4 islands to keep this little guy happy. But then you've got a 10/10 Trampler. This card was amazing to me back in the day. I don't ever really remember playing it, but I loved the card and I loved that art. Just look at the maw of that huge Leviathan. Amazing. So there you go. Magic's 4th edition expansion set, the best expansion set of all, because this was the expansion I played with back in the day. And there's a lot of great cards, mostly with nostalgia in here. Some great playable cards, of course, but these were the cards that I played with over 20 years ago, back in the 90s. They have a special place in my heart. I hope you liked looking at these great classic cards. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe on YouTube. Don't forget to head on over to patreon.com/vmcampos and think about donating $1. Your contribution really helps motivate me and keep me funded to create great videos about magic, comic books, technology, and other fun stuff. Every week you get a podcast, magic videos, stuff about comics. I think it's worth it. This has been VM Campos. See you next time.